So the direction and the tone of these films that they've released and what they're going to release. Let's start with the Nolan trilogy. Okay, like Batman. Batman Begins, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Dark, like we said.
Yeah.
But the first one had more of a comic book gimmick to it than Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises had. Yeah, if you look at the first movie, the way they spin Gotham City is much more gothic, and it's the steam coming out of the vents, and it felt more like to me it felt more like Tim Burton's version of Gotham City from the original Batman.
I say, yeah.
And then The Dark Knight reinvented it to I think it was based in Chicago, right? The movie was.
Yeah.
So, but they brought it. They really grounded it in reality in that one, and I think that's what sold the Joker so well. Is he seems so realistic? Like,
oh yeah,
you could meet somebody like this in the world that is exactly like him.
Yeah.
So it was dark, but it had a really good narrative. And it's Batman. Batman's supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Now you look at the Avengers movie, and a lot of the Avengers, their sub movies. They have some darkness to them, like Thor 2 had a bit more darkness,
Sure.
than I think the first one really did. Captain America, the Winter Soldier is a bit darker than the first Captain America. I'm not so sure about the Iron Man trilogy, but
darker meaning. It's funny. I was thinking about it, where it has this deep emotional. I don't want to say violent, but this eerie feel.
It's graphic. It feels graphic. It feels visceral.
Yeah.
I understand. And gritty.
Yeah.
Yes. It did.
Yeah. It's
But-
very. Yeah.
Now, you can't compare like the Batman's trilogy versus the Avengers. They're really not a whole lot alike.
Sure.
But you compare the Nolan trilogy to Man of Steel.
Oh yeah.
Now you start to see similarities.
Well, he directed, right? He helped direct it.
I'm not sure. I know Zack Snyder did.
Oh, Snyder. Excuse me.
He did Man of Steel. Nolan might have been.
Nolan produced it, I think.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Before.
See, it's really hard to tell a Superman movie. I always believe that. Yeah, you look at even the original Superman and Superman 2. Those movies aren't as good as we remember them being. Like Gene Hackman, everybody loved him as Lex Luthor. I still thought I liked him as Lex Luthor. I did, But he's not the Lex Luthor of the comics.
Sure.
He's gimmicky and he's goofy and he's like a joke version of himself in a sense in a lot of ways, And then Superman 2, everybody loved him fighting Zod and his woman and the guy. I don't remember their names. No one ever does, it seems like. But there was a lot of gimmicky stuff in that movie too.
Sure.
The cellophane S. And knocking him into the black chasms of death.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't even think about that he was killing them possibly, and that. But that versus the Man of Steel now, I still rather watch that original.
Sure.
Because that's more what Superman is.
Yeah, that sticks true to the character.
Yeah, it sticks more true to the character. It's inspiring. The music is inspiring. But the Man of Steel is just depressing. Like. I can understand people liking it, but like we were discussing what Superman represents, it felt like they didn't get any of that with the movie.
Sure.
He wasn't inspiring. He wrecked that dude's semi-truck just for being kind of a rude ass, pardon my language, okay? He destroyed his semi-truck. And I was like, that's not something that Superman would do. That's being like really petty. But I was like, okay, he's not Superman yet.
Yeah.
He's going to grow as a person and become the more patient, but he never really does. He kind of stays that same way. And then the Kevin Costner aspect of it, I thought Kevin Costner would be a good Jonathan Kent, and then in the end I felt like he was not.
Really? I thought he did a pretty good job.
Or maybe it's just his dialogue. Maybe it's just the dialogue and the scenes that he was put in.
Sure.
Like when he just gets the bus full of children and maybe letting them die. That was not Jonathan Kent. That was not Jonathan Kent at all.
Sure.
How would Superman be the great person he is if his father originally had said, maybe you should have let him die?
Yeah.
That's
true.
That wasn't inspiring. That was That was too real.
Yeah, that's freaky.
You know, because it was like he was so paranoid about his son that he was willing to let a school bus full of children die for it.
They're just gonna overprotective.
Yeah, he was overprotective. Now, I mean, it could be argued that it's more realistic. Okay, but that's not what the Superman story is.
Sure.
At the end of this movie, I felt like I've been walking into it. Okay, there's going to be some down parts. You're going to feel grim.
Yep.
But Superman's going to pull through, and he's going to show the qualities that is best about humankind. And he really didn't.
No.
Instead, he killed Zod in a way that even
Spoiler alert for those.
Yes.
Whatever.
But he kills him in a way that seems ridiculous. Same as with how Jonathan Kent dies. In Smallville, the original Smallville show, and I think how they did with Jonathan Kent originally, he has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And that is the better way to tell that story. When he was letting him die by the death by tornado, that was ridiculous. Superman could go get him. Like nothing. He could go get him. And it wouldn't have affected anything.
Sure.
So it was really implausible. It seems silly that this was happening. Whereas if he has a heart attack, Superman is powerless. He can't do anything. And that was so great. That's a reminder that he's not a god. That he's not omnipotent. That's what makes him great too, and helps him strive further. And to deal with his limitations. He has to have limitations. Everybody has to have limitations.
Yeah.
He can't stop a heart attack from killing somebody. You know, that's good for the story.
Sure.
The same with Zod. He should have. They could have spun something better than him just snapping Zod's neck like that. You know, even if he had to kill him, okay, he kills him.
Yeah.
All right, but he could have done it in a much different way. You know?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, I didn't really like that either.
It felt like they're going for shock value.
Yeah, they were. Well, I don't know what they were trying to do, but I didn't really like that. It did go against his character.
Yeah,
and
not that he doesn't kill. Superman will kill.
Sure.
Superman's, you know, but not like that. It felt like. Yeah.
There could have been. I mean, there were more options than just that. And it's funny. You know what? I still like the movie. I do. But one thing that I did not like, I think they were pushing the religious theme way too much.
They did push it quite a bit.
No, I'm not against religion. It's just I think there's a place for that. You know, it's a movie. You know, come on. They were just making way too. I mean, he was sitting right behind. I mean, he was sitting in front of this Jesus painting. And it's obvious the comparison you're trying to make.
Yep.
Though I don't know what happened there. You know, I just thought in his character he should be compared. There should have been even
no comparison. Not to mention that I don't feel like he has any relation to a Christ-like figure, anyways.
Sure.
You know,
but people might feel like his moral compass or whatever he is. You know, his morality, his goody two shoes, his goodness can be a reflection of what Jesus could portray.
Yeah.
But I think they were pushing that way too much.
they did push it quite a bit.
You know,
I wasn't even going to touch that aspect.
No, hey, but that was my biggest just critique about it. I'm like that. You know, I have no problems with it, but I think they were just pushing it way too much, man. Like, take it easier, I guess.
You know, something they did do right was the fight scene in Metropolis.
They did.
That I felt like
That was pretty sweet.
that's what would happen.
That
The
was
city
pretty
would be leveled.
Absolutely.
If people like that were really fighting,
Absolutely.
buildings would be falling, and they would have no idea that they're destroying millions of people below them because they're so caught up in this fight.
Absolutely.
So that part I was like, okay, at least they're doing this right, where they're like, hey, you guys want Superman so bad, this is what you're going to get with Superman. He's going to, like, the people he's going to have to fight are going to level this place. It's not like the original Superman where they like destroys a Coke sign or a Coke truck or whatever, just like catches things and knocks it over and it's like wind blowing and stuff. No, buildings are going to fall. People are going to be crushed.
Absolutely. It's funny. I like the guy who played Zod.
No, he did a great job.
Very good job.
I liked him better than the original actor. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He did a great job too, but this newer actor, he did a much better job. I felt like he gave more humanity or you know likable.
Yeah.
He had more likable qualities as Zod. That he wasn't just there to destroy the L line, you know, to destroy Kal-El and to get back at Jor-El.
Yeah.
He was there to further his people.
Yeah,
that was his
absolutely.
job.
That was his
like
purpose.
it was humanity or Krypton, and he was choosing. He's choosing
Absolutely.
his people.
It's actually quite noble.
Yeah, like from a Kryptonian aspect, it was quite noble. And I mean, like, I understood the implications of him killing Zod. I understood what that was supposed to, the emotional value it was supposed to have. I don't think most audiences probably even understood that he's killing one of his own last people, you know?
Absolutely.
And he's choosing humanity in such a way. But I don't think people caught on to that,
Yeah.
you know, because they're just looking at the face value of the death,
Absolutely.
the shock value of it, because I felt like they were going for the shock value, not the sacrifice that Superman was even making by killing Zod,
Yeah.
you know, because they did it in just such a crazy way that seemed...
Yeah. But I still like the movie. It's not bad. But
There were aspects that were good.
I do enjoy watching it, though.
Now, anyway, Batman v Superman, the trailer. You've seen the
last
trailer,
thing
right?
we're talking
Yep,
about.
last thing. All right, you've seen the trailer?
I did.
What did you think of the trailer?
It's funny. I don't know too much context about the story, so at face value, at first looking at it, I thought it was really good. You know, see, that's the thing. I don't know what the relationship is going to be like between Batman and Superman. That was too much of that was not revealed. But I'm looking forward to it. You know, it looked good. What do you think?
Well, first, I hope that was actually Ben Affleck. There's the one scene where you actually see him in the Batman outfit,
Yeah.
where he's like turning around, kind of. Hopefully, Affleck's really put on that muscle then, and that's not like a muscle
probably.
suit. Because like Michael Keaton could get away with it in the '80s, but
No.
Ben Affleck ain't getting away with it.
He probably did
now.
put on muscle.
Hey, like, hopefully he put on that muscle. Now, I can understand the suit maybe being a little modified, as long as it's not just a poofy muscle suit that we end up seeing that's obvious. So we're gonna. I'm on the fence about that.
All right.
I'm on the fence about him being Bruce Wayne still, because we haven't seen anything of him being Bruce Wayne. That image of him looking at the Batman suit, that's not Bruce Wayne. Like, that's Ben Affleck in a suit. That's all that was. That's just Ben Affleck in his clothes. You know, we need to see him acting around the public, how he's presenting Bruce Wayne. You know,
I think he'll do a good job, though.
I don't hate on Ben Affleck.
Sure.
He's been in some terrible movies, and he's been in some great movies.
Yeah.
And I love all of the old stuff that he did with Kevin Smith when they were younger. You know, I loved everything with that. He was great in all that stuff. But I'm still on the fence with him with the Batman thing.
Sure.
I'm not going to hate on him, but I'm on the fence.
I got you.
Then the Superman aspect, dark.
Yeah,
And
it
even
is-
darker.
it is dark.
The whole thing was dark. The whole trailer was just black. Like, everything, I don't think there was any, like, bright colors.
Even visually, it was dark.
Yeah, it was, like, just completely dark. And, like, the way they're spinning Superman now, he's, like, depressing. It's, like, people... And now, maybe, like I said, they're trying to go with this realistic feel of how people would go crazy if Superman was real, and people would be worshiping him as a god, and other people would be denouncing him as a heretic, or, you know, he's Antichrist or something.
Sure.
People would be doing that. I understand that. But that's not what you want to see in a Superman movie, man. I don't want to see that. That's depressing. Well, I watch that with the Batman aspect, but the Superman aspect needs to be bright.
Yeah.
Him, the sun shining, and him being awesome. Okay, that's what's good. That's what. I don't want this younger generation of kids to watch Superman and think of it as like an emo story.
Yeah.
You know, or like Superman's dark and brooding. I don't want that. That's not Superman. No, kids, Superman is at the forefront. He's the one leading the charge, fearless. That's not what that trailer conveyed to me.
Sure.
And then at the end, that line where he's like, "Tell me something, do you bleed?"
Oh yeah.
What? Batman does not talk like that.
Yeah.
I watched the Angry Joe review on YouTube of that trailer, and like verbatim, that's what he even said. That's not how Batman talks, and I hope that's not how they're portraying Batman's interaction with Superman, where he's like, you know, I'm gonna kick your butt because I'm Batman, because that's not how Batman does things, and that would be that's like egotistical, and that's not Batman's thing. So I'm really
You might hate this movie, actually.
I don't want like I want to see it, and I want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to see a good Superman movie because we have not seen one in a long time.
Sure.
Now I was a fan of Smallville. I'm going to say that
Yeah.
I love the earlier seasons of Smallville a lot. I thought that was a great show. They had some pretty gimmicky ways of taking Superman's powers in some of the episodes and stuff. But it showed him when he was still gaining his powers and learning them and stuff. So he had weaknesses, he had flaws. He was still developing as a human being too. So that was good, But I don't think we're gonna see anything like that in these movies from here on out. It's just gonna be dark.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'll go watch it.
And hopefully Wonder Woman and Aquaman and them are not just a little cameo. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they need to have at least a small impact on the story. I feel like to carry them over. I don't want to see just a slight cameo.
Sure. Well, these are just a couple of guys talking. If you want to comment or like or whatever you want to do, but it was fun talking about these guys.
Yeah. I love geeking out about
man.
books, man.
Well, in any case, thanks for watching. We will see you next week when we discuss Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Thrones.
I still need to catch up on those, dude.
You have to.
I
I don't want to spoil anything for that, and there's gonna be spoilers in that episode. So if you guys do watch that, spoiler alert. Don't watch it if you haven't got up to this current season or the books.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week.